Yan, this is it. Ito na yung pinakahintay natin. Yehey!
Mangyaring taas ang kanang kamay at wikain ang mga sumusunod. Ako, si Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr.
Si Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr.
ay mataimtim na nanunumpa. Nagtutuparin ko ng buong katapatan at sigasig.
Natutuparin ko na buong katapatan at sigasig
Ang aking mga tungkulin bilang Pangulo ng Pilipinas. Pangangalagaan at ipagtatanggol ang kanyang konstitusyon. Ipatutupad ang mga batas nito. Magiging makatarungan sa bawat tao. At itatalaga ang aking sarili sa paglilingkod sa bansa. Kasihanawa ako ng Diyos. Congratulations, Mr. President.
Yes! Our new President BBM, Bongbong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Congratulations! Ayan na, pirma na. Pilipinas kong hirap. Tama-tama talaga, oh. 12 to signing of oath of office. Yes. Lagi kang paglingkurod. Pilipinas kong hirap. Yes. Naiyak si Lisa, oh. First Lady Lisa Araneta Marcos. Tatlong anak niyang lalaki, oh. Puro lalaki. Congratulations, BBM. BBM. Kanta.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic
Of the Philippines.
President Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr.
Yes. Daming tao. Bago ng presidente ang Pilipinas. Nakakamiss din si President Duterte. Ganda oh. National Museum. Ganda oh. Matiwasay talaga oh, walang gulo. Pilipinas kong nagsasalita na si BBM. BBM.
His Excellency David Hurley, Governor General of Australia, and First Lady Linda Hurley, Their Excellencies, Special Envoys, and Heads of Delegations, His Excellency, Most Reverend Charles John Brown, and the esteemed members of the Diplomatic Corps, Vice President Sara Duterte, President Fidel Ramos, President Joseph Ejercito Estrada, President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, Senate President Vicente Soto III, and the honorable members of the Philippine Senate, House Speaker Lord Alan J. Velasco, and the honorable members of the House of Representatives, Chief Justice Alexander Gesmundo, and the honorable justices of the Supreme Court, of course, First Lady Lisa Araneta, and my children, Alexander, Sandro, Simon, and Vincent. I cannot proceed without a special greeting, of course, to the former First Lady Imelda Romualdez Marcos. Other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my friends, ang aking minamahal na mga kababayan, magandang tanghali po sa inyong lahat. This is a historic moment for us all. I feel it deep within me. You, the people, have spoken, and it is resounding. When my call for unity started to resonate with you, it did so because it echoed your yearnings, mirrored your sentiments, and expressed your hopes for family, for country, and for a better future. That is why it reverberated and amplified as it did, to deliver the biggest electoral mandate in the history of Philippine democracy. By your vote, you rejected the politics of division. I offended none of my rivals in this campaign. I listened instead to what they were saying. And I saw little incompatibility with my own ideas about jobs, fair wages, personal safety, and national strength, and ending want in a land of plenty. I believe that if we but focus on the work at hand and the work that will come to hand, we will go very far under my watch. You believe that too. At pinakinggan ko ang tinig ninyo na ang sinisigaw ay pagkakaisa, pagkakaisa, pagkakaisa. We will go farther together than against each other, pushing forward, not pulling each other back, out of fear, out of a misplaced sense of weakness. But we are the furthest from weak. The Filipino diaspora flourishes even in those inhospitable times. where they are valued for their qualities. The changes we seek will benefit all and will shortchange no one. I was not the instrument of change. You were that. You made it happen. I am now. You picked me to be your servant, to enable changes to benefit all.
Very hard to
I
get
fully
there because
understand
the
the
gray
burden
hair
and
is
responsibility
very hard
you
to
put on my
yeah.
shoulders. I do not take it lightly, but I am ready for the task.
You have a lunch. Huh? You have a lunch?
Yeah,
I have my, I'm going to eat my
But rest assured, I do not
sandwich.
predicate success
How
on
about
the
you, Rina?
preparation that's needed.
I already finished.
I will get it done.
Okay, cool.
I once knew a man who saw what little had been achieved since independence in a land of people with the greatest potential for achievement. And yet, they were poor. But he got it done. Sometimes with the needed support, sometimes without. So will it be with his son. You will get no excuses for me.
Galing ni BBM, walang kudigo.
Not to talk about
Katalino
the past.
talaga.
I am
Mana,
here to tell
kagaya
you
ng tatay
about
niya.
the
Talino.
future.
Walang kudigo.
A future
Kung ano yung
of
nasa puso niya.
sufficiency, even plenty of readily available ways and means to get done what needs doing. By you, by me. We do not look back, but ahead. Up the road that we must take to a place better than the one we lost in the pandemic. Gains made and lost, opportunities missed, well-laid plans superseded by the pandemic. Indeed, ours was the fastest growing economy in ASEAN by ways now outdated. We shall be again by radical change in the way the world must now work to recover what we have lost in that fire and move on from there. We face prospects of the spread of the war abroad, of which we are totally blameless. We seek friendship with all. But countries like ours will bear the brunt of it. And if the great powers draw the wrong lessons from the ongoing tragedy in Ukraine, the same dark prospect of conflict will spread to our part of the world. Yet, there is more out there. Like going forward by new ways of doing that the pandemic forces to adopt. A stronger resilience, quicker adaptability. They are our best prevention. They are our best protection. Quiet reflection in a rough and tumble campaign of a breadth and intensity never experienced revealed some of them. Such as a willingness to listen despite the noise, the hesitation to quarrel over differences, and to never, ever give up hope of reconciliation. These gave me the peace to ponder deeper. There are hints of a road not taken that could get us out of here quicker, to something better, something less fragile. There is also what you, the people, did to cope. But this time empowered by new techniques and more resources. You got by, getting some of what you needed with a massive government help. And for this, I thank my predecessor for the courage of his hard decisions. But there is a way to put more means and choices in your hands. I trust the Philippines.
Yeah.
Imagine how much more you'd achieve if government backstops instead of dictating your decisions. Always there to pick you up when you fall. Giving what you need to get past a problem. Imagine if it invested in your self-empowerment to bring it closer to taking on whatever challenges come. Imagine a country that, in almost every sense, is you. Now imagine what you and government can achieve together. We did it in the pandemic. We will do it again. But again, I will not predicate my promise to you on your cooperation. You have your own lives to live, your work to do, and there too I will help. Government will get as much done alone without requiring more from you. That is what government and public officials are for. No excuses, just deliver. It was like that once upon a time.
Yeah.
I did not talk much in this campaign. I did not bother to think of rebutting my rivals. Instead, I searched for promising approaches better than the usual solutions. I listened to you. I did not lecture you who has the biggest stake in our success. And the forthcoming State of the Nation will tell you exactly how we shall get this done. In this fresh chapter of our history, I extend my hand to all Filipinos. Come, let us put our shoulders to the wheel and give that wheel a faster turn to repair and to rebuild and to address challenges in new ways to provide what all Filipinos need to be all that we can. We are here to repair a house divided, to make it whole, and to stand strong again in the Bayanihan way, expressive of our nature as Filipinos. We shall seek not scorn dialogue, listen respectfully to contrary views, be open to suggestions coming from hard thinking and unsparing judgment, but always from us, Filipinos. We can trust no one else when it comes to what is best for us. Past history has often proven that. Solutions from outside divided us, none deepened our understanding. They were always at our expense. Never forget, we are Filipinos. One nation, one republic, indivisible. We resisted and never failed to defeat foreign attempts to break up our country in my father's watch. His strongest critics have conceded that. So let us all be part of the solution that we choose. In that lies the power to get it done. Always be open to differing views, but ever united in our chosen goal. Never hesitating to change it, should it prove wanting. That is how agile, resilient republics are made. Our future we decide today. Yesterday cannot make that decision anymore, nor can tomorrow delay it. The sooner we start, the surer and quicker the prospect of achieving our future. These are troubling times. What's happening to others can happen to us, but it will not. We see what's happening. We are witness to how it is being stopped, and we have seen the glory that crowns struggle against all odds. Giving up is not an option. We've been through times of bitter division, but united, we came through to this when it shall begin again, but better. The campaigns I've run have taken me here where I stand today. I listened to you, and this is what I have heard. We all want peace in our land. You and your children want a good chance at a better life in a safer, more prosperous country. All that is within reach of a hard-working, warm, and giving race. Your dreams are mine. Pangarap nyo ay pangarap ko. How can we make them come true? How can we do it together? But I will take it as far as anyone with the same faith and commitment can, as if it depended entirely on himself. Sa pangarap na maging mapayapa ang ating bansa, ang pangarap nyo ay pangarap ko. Sa pangarap na maging maunlad ang ating bansa, nyo ay pangarap ko. At sa pangarap na maging mas masinan ang kinabukasan natin at ng ating mga anak, ang pangarap nyo ay pangarap ko. We are presently drawing up a comprehensive, all-inclusive plan for economic transformation. We will build back better by doing things in the light of the experiences that we have had, both good and bad. It doesn't matter. No looking back in anger or nostalgia. In the road ahead, the immediate months will be rough, but I will walk that road with you. The pandemic ravaged bigger economies than ours. The virus is not the only thing to blame. What had been well built was torn down. We will build it back better. The role of agriculture cries for the urgent attention that its neglect and misdirection now demands. Food self-sufficiency has been the key promise of every administration. None but one delivered. There were inherent defects in the old ways and in recent ways too. The trade policy of competitive advantage made the case that when it comes to food sufficiency, a country should not produce, but import what other countries make more of and sell cheapest. Then came Ukraine. The most vulnerable when it comes to food are the countries furthest away from the conflict, those bearing no blame for provoking it. Yet they face the biggest risk of starvation. If financial aid is poured into them, though it never is, there is nothing to buy. Food is not just a trade commodity. Without it, people weaken and die. Societies come apart. It is more than a livelihood. It is an existential imperative and a moral one. An agriculture damaged and diminished by unfair competition will have a harder time, or will have no prospects at all of recovering. Food sufficiency must get the preferential treatment the richest free trade countries always gave their agricultural sectors. Their policy boils down to don't do as we do. Do what we tell you to. I'm giving that policy the most serious thought if it doesn't change or make more allowances for emergencies with long-term effects. There is a parallel problem in our energy supply. Sufficient fossil fuel-free technology for whole economies has yet to be invented. And it is not seriously tried by rich countries. Again, consider the response of the richest countries to the war in Ukraine. But surely, a free world awash with oil can assure supplies. Or we will find a way. We are not far from oil and gas reserves that have already been developed. What we teach in our schools, the materials used must be rethought. I'm not talking about history. I'm talking about the basics, the sciences, sharpening theoretical aptitude and imparting vocational skills, such as in the German example, alongside the national language, with equal emphasis and facility in a global language, which we have and lost. Let us give OFWs all the advantages we can for them to survive and to thrive. Our teachers from elementary up are heroes fighting ignorance with poor paper weapons. We are condemning the future of our race to menial occupations abroad. Then they are exploited by traffickers. Once we had an education system that prepared coming generations for more and better jobs. We won't be caught unprepared, under-equipped, and understaffed to fight the next pandemic. To start with, we never got over the pandemic of poor, if any, free public health. Last major upgrade of a public health system, exemplified by the resources poured into PGH, predates the current shambles by 3 generations. Our nurses are the best in the world. They acquitted themselves with the highest distinction abroad, having suffered even the highest casualties. With the same exemplary dedication at home, they just got by. They're out there because we cannot pay them for the same risk and workload that we have back here. There will be changes starting tomorrow. I am confident because I have an uplift in my cabinet. There were shortcomings in the COVID response. We will fix them. Out in the open. No more secrets in public health. Remember, I speak from experience. I was among the first to get COVID. It was not a walk in the park. My father built more and better roads, produced more rice than all administrations before his. President Rodrigo Duterte built more and better than all the administrations succeeding my father's. Much has been built, and so well, that the economic dogma of dispersing industry to develop the least likely places has been upturned. Development was brought to them. Investors are now setting up industries along the promising routes built. And yet, the potential of this country is not exhausted. Following these giant steps, we will continue to build. I will complete on schedule the projects that have been started. I'm not interested in taking credit. I want to build on success that's already happening. We will be presenting the public with a comprehensive infrastructure plan. 6 years could be just about enough time. No part of our country will be neglected. Progress will be made wherever there are Filipinos, so no investment is wasted. The recovery of Philippine tourism, with its emphasis on accessing nature's beauty, I am sure will exceed expectations. And bigger is not always better, but there's something to be said for economies of scale. And yet the country invites investments in fast-rising industries with quick returns and inflicts irreparable damage for future generations. We have yet to see large-scale practical solutions to pollution, though some are beginning to emerge. But there are tried and proven new ways of mitigation. Blades have been turning over the sand dunes of Ilocos Norte, harnessing a power all around, but unseen, long before this day. I built them. The rich world talks a great deal, but does a lot less about it than those with much less, but who suffer more death and destruction from climate change and lack of adaptation. We will look to our partners and friends who help the Philippines, who, despite having a very small carbon footprint, is at the highest risk. First, spare victims, then help them recover, and move on to lessen the harmful impact of climate change. We too have our part to play. We are the third biggest plastics polluter in the world, but we won't shirk from that responsibility. We will clean up. You will not be disappointed, so do not be afraid. With every difficult decision that I must make, I will keep foremost in my heart and in my mind the debt of gratitude I owe you for the honor and responsibility that you have conferred on me. Whatever is in a person to make changes for the better of others, I lay before you now in my commitment. I will try to spare you. You have your other responsibilities to carry. But I will not spare myself from shedding the last bead of sweat or giving the last last ounce of courage and sacrifice. And if you ask me why I am so confident in the future, I will answer you simply that I have 110 million reasons to start with. Such is my faith in the Filipino. Believe, have hope. The sun also rises like it did today and as it will tomorrow. And as surely as that, we will achieve the country all Filipinos deserve. God bless the Philippines. God bless our world. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas.
What number?
Magandang
Where's your pen?
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.
We will now have a photo
What?
opportunity with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. May we invite the first family on stage. First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos. Ferdinand Alexander Sandro
Can I do
Marcos.
it later? Because I have to do my Come back later. That line na lang.
Marcos.
Come back later, ha? Yeah. Oh, ano? Yeah.
Medyo po natunghayan ang naging talumpati at una doon yung panunumpa
Ay,
niya
ang galing
naging
magsalita ni
talumpati
BBM, grabe.
ni President Bongbong Marcos. Umabot ito ng nasa higit kumulang 30 minuto na panunumpa at the same time hanggang doon sa speech at kasalukuyan po nagkakaroon ng photo opportunity po. At kasama pa rin natin si Senator ni Rolex Supico at si Sas Rogando Sasso. Unahin muna natin si Sas. Ano masasabi mo doon sa naging speech ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos?
Speech. Unahin, sige muna natin ito ng comment kung nakikita natin ngayon sa screen. The Vice President and the President together. Kasi during the inauguration of President Duterte, the Vice President wasn't there. I think magkasabay pa ata sila. Hindi ba sila magkasabay ng inauguration noon? Hindi. Iba to. Diba? Nakita mo siya, the Vice President is beside the President. Talagang writing talaga ito. Mula noon. At sana magpatuloy ito. So magtungo na tayo sa speech. Napakaganda ng speech na ito. Yun lang yung nasasabi. Yun ang una-una kong naramdaman nung narinig ko yung speech na well, we all know the oratorical skills of BBM. Talagang nandun siya, nag-Oxford yan eh. Kahit ano pa sabihin mga kritiko niya, nag-Oxford yan. And then, ang isa sa mga A-levels niya para makapasok ng Oxford is English. Iba-iba yung oratorical skills talaga ni BBM, ni President. BBM, President na. President BBM. Ngayon, in terms of the content, napakayaman ng content ng speech na to. Pero pag isusulat ko, ang magko-comment ako sa speech na to, halimbawa, I will look back dito sa speech na to 30 years from now or 40 years from now. Ang maalala ko dito, na I think the most quotable quote here, parang ito ang kanyang we conquered na line. Yung, we are Filipinas, one nation, one republic, indivisible. Ang ganda nun. Hindi lang yung words, the way na construct yung verse na yon and the way BBM delivered. So I think if you're going to have a clip about this inauguration speech, ayun dapat ang maging sentro eh. Kasi yun na yung message niya eh, ni President BBM.
Ang pinapangatawan lang talaga niya, mula nung nag-umpisa pa yung campaign hanggang sa sulukuhin, yung unity.
Yes.
Yung pagkakaisa.
Yes, yun ang paulit-ulit na message na to. Saka yung saka yung role na hindi na tayo dapat naging sa past. We have to look forward to the future.
Attorney Rolex.
Well, para sa akin, no, years later, pag-uusapan natin itong particular speech ni President Bongbong Marcos, no? Ito yung ang naiiwanan sa akin. I will not talk about the past, but the future. And we look ahead. Ito po, no? Ito yung cornerstone ng kanyang inaugural address. So kung pag na-quote tayo, kung may quotation tayo, ito naalala ko palagi. Tama, I agree with Miss Sass, no? Parang Julius Caesar. I
Diba?
came, I saw, I conquered.
Okay.
Bini, Beni, Bini, Vinci.
Yun yun eh. We are Filipinos, one nation, one republic, indivisible. Ang ganda ng delivery ni BBM doon. So, and a lot of things to remember. Pero I think, kasi kung ikaw kumpara mo to sa inauguration speech ni President Duterte noong 2016. Si President Duterte may binanggit na mga problema na dapat solusyonan. Noong 2016, ang sentro talaga ni PRRD ay yung drugs. Ngayon dito kay President BBM, ang naging sentro, ang problema kanyang unang highlight, actually marami siyang highlight, pero unang-unang niyang binanggit is yung issue ng food self-sufficiency. Diba? At meron siyang maganda dito message eh. Hinighlight niya yung gawain ng mga mayayamang bansa na nag-subsidize ng kanilang agriculture. Tapos, syempre may sense of protectionism doon, diba? Pero, pag ibang bansa yung gagawa nun, aangal sila, i-raise nila yung World Trade Organization. Kaya ang sabi dito kay President BBM na itong mga bansa nito, ang kanilang polisiya is don't do as we do, but do as we say. Diba? Or don't do as we did. Ganyan. Kasi nga, yan yung tinatawag na phenomena na kicking the ladder. Kung ano yung mga polisiyang nakapagtulong sa mga bansang itong para umangat. Ngayon, ipinagkakait nila ito sa mga bansang pa-develop pala katulad ng Pilipinas. At ang ganda at maganda na isinama yan ni President BBM. And lastly, ang isa pang maganda para sa akin dito na tatatak din is yung sinabi niya na walang makakatulong sa atin kundi tayo lang. I don't know the exact terms, pero ganun yun. At hindi natin kailangan kumuha ng solusyon externally kasi it failed us just like what happened to us in the past. Malalim yun, ha? Malalim yun. And that, for me, signifies his foreign policy.
Attorney.
Okay, hindi pa natin mabilang po kung ilan yung ginamit na pananalita or words, no? But in the past, ang presidential addresses, binibilang po ang salita na binibitawan ng bagong Pangulo. So si Presidente Ramos, no? 2,356 words. At ang kanyang duration ng kanyang speech, 29 minutes. No? President Arroyo, 1,066 words, 15 minutes. No? President Estrada, 2,202 words, 31 minutes. Ito yung katumbas ng kanya. At binibilang ko dito, I think President BBM spoke for around 32 minutes. Yan. Ang shortest speech no, so far ay diniliver ni President Duterte. 1,343 words, lasting for around 15 minutes. Yan. No? Pero nakikita natin no, na ang parts ng presidential inaugural address ay dalawa. Appreciation for the nation. Ang pagpapasalamat po ng incoming president sa mandatos na binigay sa kanya ng taong bayan. Ang pangalawa po, yung call to action. At sinabi niya ito, no? May call to action siya. Sabi niya, I listened to you and this is what I heard. Tapos sinabi na niya yung kanyang narinig at ang kanyang gagawin. Ito na po yung call to action.
At yung kanyang sinabi kanina, yung One Filipino, yung One Nation, One Republic, nakita talaga niya na ito yung pagiging watak-watak, yung dahilan kung bakit hindi talaga nakalipad ng gusto yung bansa, SAS.
Ito rin yung message niya eh. You know, we are Filipinos, one nation, one republic, indivisible. Napakalaman nito. Ito ay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words. Oh, 7 is a Marcos number, ha? 7 is a Marcos number. That's the lucky number of Apo Marcos. No, we are Filipinos. Tama ba? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 naman. Still, lucky number, infinity. So, ayun na nga. Now, you know, as I told you, the Marcoses are really very good in utilizing the symbolism of the nation in order to govern. Diba? Katulad, and we will not expect anything less dito sa presidency ni PBBM. Kita mo, the venue itself is very symbolic for the nation and for the theme of unity. Diba? Tapos ang ganda pa nung parade ng militar, ng assets natin. Diba? Kasi parang, I haven't seen this before. Yung ganyang kagandang inauguration. Kasi madalas kasi ang inauguration sa Caribbean Grandstand.
And kabilang din sa niya, yung na-appreciate talaga is yung mga nagawang proyekto din ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte na nalagpasan after nung sa panahon ng kanyang tatay, lalo na yung sa Build program ng ating Pangulo. Sa survey sa SAS, sa Publicus Asia, Attorney Rolex, ekonomiya, trabaho, at edukasyon yung top issues of concern dun sa kanilang lumalabas dun sa kanilang survey. And 73% dun sa sinurvey nila nasasabi yung Philippine economy. Which is nabanggit din ito ni President Bongbong Marcos sa kanyang speech.
I think, you know, it's post-pandemic and ang unang-unang mo dapat solusyonan dyan is yung pagbalik ng sigla ng iyong ekonomiya. Ako naman kasi hindi ako worried about economic recovery kasi ang Pilipinas ay maraming magaling na financial and economic managers. Parang pa ni Gloria. It's the same, you know, the same group of people, Gloria, Noynoy, and of course, kay PRRD. These are the people who are kept on circulating dyan. Magagaling talaga sila. We really have good financial and economic management. So, hindi ako mag-aano. Hindi ako talaga mag-worry makaka-recover tayo. Plus, ang ano kasi sa atin, ang ekonomiya natin talaga, ang malakas is domestic consumption. Makabalik lang uli tayo after lockdown, mawala yung lockdown, yung economy natin magbabounce back kasi yan talaga ang backbone ng economy natin, yung domestic consumption.
So, ang pinag-uusapan nila na call to action, ito na, economic recovery. Nag-prepare daw siya ng plano para sa economic recovery ng ating bansa. Pangalawa, food self-sufficiency. Pangatlo, sufficient energy supply. Sabi niya, find other sources of energy. Okay, tapos, TECBO, technical vocational. So, ang TESDA medyo may diin sa kanyang administrasyon. Tapos yung OFWs. Tapos yung education, na-mention pa si BP Sara Duterte. Tapos, pandemic preparation. Sabi niya, kailangan daw ng major upgrade dito. So, yung Department of Health, kailangan may major upgrade dito po. Yung health, mga nurses, na-mention din dito si Secretary Ople. Tapos, yung COVID response, importante sa kanya rin. Bakit? Kasi po siya ay nagkaroon ng COVID. Siya po ay nag-test positive din siya sa COVID. Tapos sabi yan, ang development of our infrastructure, na binigyan din ng kanyang tatay, sa kanyang outgoing President Duterte. Tapos kapag sinabi niya, I will complete all projects already started. So, para sa akin, major pronouncement yun kasi karamihan na incoming president, hindi ko i-implement. Yung project started by the outgoing president.
Naalala ko ito
i-implement ito.
Attorney Rolex, naalala ko yung isang interview natin sa isang kumakandidato. Naalala ko sabi niya na every time na after ng election, nagkakaroon tayo ng bagong bansa. Ibig sabihin, hindi na ipagpapatuloy yung mga,
Square one.
oo, balik ka zero, mag-uumpisa na naman, tapos ayaw kilalanin nung nanalo, reset na naman yung kanyang plano na naman yung kanyang gustong na
I think now we will have at least a continuity for at least 18 years. Di ba? Simulan ni PRRD and then BBM, and I think
6 times 3, 18.
at least 18 years. And I think you need that for your country to really develop and have a stronger foundation. Kasi yan talaga ang napakalaking disadvantage ng may term limit ang isang administrasyon. Yung papalit-palit.
May tanong ko lang, kasi di ba, narinig natin yung kanyang pangunahing talaga, no, yung economic recovery. At in-line dito din, yung kanyang mismong desisyon na pangunahan yung Department of Agriculture. Nakikita mo ba, kasi si Pangulong Duterte, iba rin yung kanyang, di ba, yung anti-crime, war on drugs, anti-corruption. So, kumbaga, naisip mo ba na naisip din ni Pangulong BBM na okay na, nakaset na ng siguro yung government sa paglaban sa drugs, and ito yung kailangan ngayon, kaya ito yung tututukan ko. Ano masasabi mo?
Well, there is an emergency that we face regarding food security. At talagang pag hindi ito naagapan ngayon, in the next 6 years, we will really suffer a lot. Mag-i-import na lang tayo ng mag-i-import na wala kung may mangyari sa pandaigdigang merkado. Hindi lamang fossil fuel ang tataas ang presyo sa atin, pati yung price of agricultural produce. Kaya maganda na inupuan niya itong Department of Agriculture kasi nga, paano nga naman haharangin ng Kongreso at Senado ang mga reforma gusto ko, hindi yung ex-secretary, yung presidente yung nakaupo dyan. At idadagdag lang ako dito sa sinabi ni Atty. Rex Suplico about sa pag-highlight ng education. Sinabi ni President BBM, gusto niyang i-revise or ang mga content ng mga lesson. At magandang i-emphasize na hindi yung history, kundi yung science. Diba? Ang science.
Tsaka yung basic education, kung ano yung reason kung bakit nag-aral ka doon.
Oo, yung
para matuto ka na.
correct. So maganda yung pag-emphasize niya dito ng science education. Kasi hindi ka pwedeng mag-industrialize na country kung yung science education mo ay lagapak. Kaya nga, tama yung hinala ko na this president will be a
So, bye for now, guys. Tapos na yung pagsasalita ng BBM. Napakagaling, super nakaka-proud talaga ang ating presidente.
Okay, yung ending
I
niya,
love you,
Partner
BBM.
Alvar, Lisas, gusto ko rin. Yung ending niya,
Bye for now.
we will clean up.
Kasi ayusin ko ba itong
After
customer ko?
mentioning yung
Kasi
windmills
nasa
sa
shop tayo,
Ilocos,
nasa shop.
yun ang isa niya. So we will clean
Ayan,
up.
sa shop.
Ito po para sa
So,
climate
bye
change.
for now.